Yo, how's it going, everybody? It's the Masked Man, and today we're going to be talking about Blame the Manga. Now, I don't necessarily know where I want to start. Not gonna lie to you, I did not sleep at all last night. Your boy got scared by a cockroach. Basically spent all night looking for it, trying to kill it. But when I wasn't spraying flea like a maniac throughout my entire room, I was reading this manga, Blame. Well, Blame exclamation point, but that's besides the point. So when it comes to Blame as a manga, I think the first thing we need to address is the medium that is manga. One of the things that I've always pointed out that I think is heavily important when it comes to the overall quality of a manga is the artwork. The ability to visually represent and communicate the message to the reader. There are certain mangas that do this better than others. Berserk, Vagabond, other things that I've been checking out like Sunken Rock, Slam Dunk, Real. These are some of the best when it comes to its artwork. However, when it comes to mangas such as I'd say Vagabond, Berserk, and another one like Dorohedoro, which kind of gave me similar vibes to this, ironically, Dorohedoro, not Berserk and Vagabond, just quick correction. The strong points of those stories are the dialogue. The ability that the author has to write dialogue in which we're able to see the character grow and express it through words. Not to say that, again, the visuals don't do their job as well, they definitely do. But what I'm trying to get at here with Blame is one of the most, if not the most unique manga that I've ever seen aesthetically due to its ability to completely communicate an entire scene of what's going on when 7 out of 10 of the panels there's no dialogue whatsoever, which makes for a very quick, a very easy, a very just enjoyable read. Now, with that being said, you also run the risk of getting lost and missing some of the major important things of the plot due to the fact that it's not constantly going to explain things to you through vast amount of exposition like something a Hunter x Hunter would. This story, just like Pluto's, around the 60 chapter mark. However, the chapters in Blame do feel much longer than Pluto, but in a different sense, because again, Pluto is something, or Urasawa's work period, in the whole detective style that it has. Again, dialogue is a major thing. Blame, like I just explained, is quite the opposite. Also, something else that I really want to give credit for Blame, because many people just focus only on the fact that it just hardly ever talks. It's definitely a show don't tell manga. The world building in Blame is top notch. It truly is. The creativity of the author to create this cyberpunk monster-like feel with a lot of the creatures is absolutely fantastic. Many times it reminds me of something like Made in Abyss, but with Made in Abyss, the world building becomes better and better the further you descend, versus in Blame, they're going from down to up. So I thought that was a pretty neat thing as well. Now, as for the overall plot and premise of the story, it's similar to an Urasawa work. In fact, actually, I felt as if the way the plot was handled in Blame reminded me a lot of Dorohedoro in the sense that you're kind of thrown into this world where you really just have to learn what's going on off the jump, and you need to take in every little bit of information so you can understand this as quick as possible. And the overall mystery behind the protagonists in the series kind of reveal more about the actual world that you're in the more you figure out about the protagonist. So this has a sense of mystery and intrigue, has a decent amount of twist to it as well that keeps you intrigued from beginning to end. The overall premise and plot itself, however, I don't want to get into it because of spoilers, is a neat one. I wouldn't say it's the best plot out there, but it is a solid one. But again, the strength of Blame is the ability to communicate said plot through its lack of words. Seriously, man, Blame, it's like looking through a gallery of amazing panels back to back to back to back to back. So one of the things I also appreciate about Blame is despite it being a short 60-something chapters, there are a lot of other characters that are introduced, a lot of side characters that serve their role well. They do a good job, they leave a lasting impression, and they don't hinder the story, they don't become stagnant, they fulfill their role, and I appreciate that. Now, as for the antagonistic force within Blame, they're just cool. Like, I don't really have much negative to say about the overall antagonistic force. Again, I don't want to get into it too much because this is something that I really don't want to spoil, but I did post a panel of it on the community tab, and just the overall character designs will make you fall in love with a lot of the characters that show up. Now, something I will say, and this might be odd, and I actually might be one of the few ones on this, but I understand that you might get lost when it comes to the overall plot of Blame. For me, the only time I really found myself getting lost as to what happened was with some of the fight scenes. And I think the only reason that is because the author goes to such incredible creative lengths with these insane abilities some of the enemies have, that you're kind of trying to figure out, okay, what the heck just shot what? But other than that, as long as you're able to kind of keep track of what's going on, the fight should come off as amazing, brutal, high intensity. This is just a manga full of high intensity from start to finish. Despite the amount of time that actually ends up being covered in the manga. It is a manga with good pacing due to, again, its ability to be very show don't tell. And I think another element of that I do want to touch upon now is complementing the actual dialogue. Because whilst, again, the dialogue is a lot more far and few in between at times versus other mangas, I do think that Blame, by doing that, adds an importance to when the characters speak. So whatever information the characters are giving you, it's not information that's useless, that's filler. Everything that is usually talked about in the manga pertains to the progression of the story, to what the protagonist is trying to accomplish in the goal he's pushing towards. Which, if you're somebody who doesn't like to read filler chapters that just waste your time, you're going to have a blast with this. I mean, genuinely, I think you're going to have a blast with this manga, period. And so, other than the way that the plot is kind of structured and built up, reminding me of Dorohedoro, and the overall amazing creativity and world building reminding me of Made in Abyss, which, again, both is top tier, I genuinely don't think there's any manga that I've read that does anything like Blame. Blame is a one-time unique experience, and in a way that can be said about most of the greatest mangas out there. They all have their own sense of uniqueness, but this just does it differently. And it's so invigorating, it's so refreshing, it's just one for the books. Blame as a manga, I'm telling you, you need to get into this. And I know I say that about a lot of the things that I recommend, because, I mean, heck, you guys just recommend fantastic mangas. But this is a must-read for any manga lover out there. This is by far one of the best reads I've had. This is a masterpiece. This is exploiting and using the art form that is manga to almost its finest state. This is genius. Blame is I loved it. I hopefully you got that by now. I absolutely love this story. I think it's one of those things that truly will change your view on manga, and it will help you pay attention more to things such as artwork, structuring of the pages and the panels, basically just paneling and whatnot. But this is something that's worthy of anybody's top 10 or top 5 best mangas of all time list. And the fact that this isn't talked, the only other time I've seen Blame be talked about was from PewDiePie. But other than that, it's a shame how this does not seem to get more recognition or more talk on YouTube. But as always, if you are new to the channel, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on the bell notifications. And as always, this has been The Masked Man. Hope everyone has a blessed rest of the day, and peace.